We're now going to do the closing entries, so you can see we're getting towards the end of the accounting cycle. The closing entries is when we empty out the balance of all the temporary accounts out of the general ledger. Now I'll come back and talk about that in a bit, because I see here I've also made a pretty giant stuff up in the worksheet. So I have a number of account balances here which are not correct, and the reason was because I remember saying to you, concentrate and pay attention, because this is a tricky bit, and if we don't get it right we'll have a problem later. But I didn't follow all the way through. We could go back and fix that, but let's see how we would fix it from here. It looks like a major problem, but we can do it. What we didn't do was copy and paste special for these, because I've said the trial balance goes through 3 stages. There's the unadjusted trial balance, the adjusted trial balance, and then finally the post-closing trial balance. So we've continued to go and do journals after we've got to the unadjusted trial balance, and so it's now got adjustments in it. So you'll go down the bottom and you'll see that it is totals equal, but they're not green. You'll see our percentage completed has fallen, but we can fix that with a bit of effort. So what I'm going to do with these, because all we've done since then is the adjusting entries. So if I take the adjusting entries out, so again this probably is a time for paying attention, and it's also an advantage of keeping copies along the way. If you make a mistake and you've got to go back and fix things up, you might not have to go back too far. So I'm going to delete each of these. Now we'll have to remember what they are, because I have to come and put them back in. I don't want to take them all out. The only thing I need to take out is the amounts, and then we can see they're easy to remember. 6,000, 1,000, 1,000, now that's pretty easy, and then a 650, and the last number's easy to remember. It's 1, 2, 3, then another 3. So I can't delete all of that in one bit. I have to delete each item. So I'm going to delete and put them back. Delete, delete, and as I delete you'll see the worksheet progress racing up. Delete, delete, and delete. So it's now back where it was. Now I've got to select, copy. I thought I remember doing this, but clearly I didn't, and paste special values. They're in there, and it's back to 75%. Now I've got to put these in. 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 1,000, and we can see as we're putting these in, it is not changing the worksheet because we copied paste values special. 650, One, two, three, three. 1, 2, 3, 3. So we're back to where we should have been. I'm going to and now save this file for myself. I just save because I've already set it up as adjustments. So now we're going to do closing entries. Righto. Let's have a look at the trial balance, because we'll get a better picture of what's happening. Now, we said, just work through a few things here. You'll note you prepare 3 different trial balances: unadjusted trial balance, adjusted trial balance, and post-closing trial balance. So, the adjusted trial balance, we go to the worksheet. We see, sorry, the unadjusted trial balance, correct. The adjusted trial balance, all correct. And so now we go back to the trial balance to get it correct. We said the unadjusted trial balance, the adjusted trial balance will be marked in the worksheet. The trial balance only will be marked after we've done the closing entries. And what's the purpose of closing? Well, we have permanent accounts, that's all assets, and all liabilities, and the two capital accounts of owner's equity. The rest of the accounts, if we draw a line along there, the rest of the accounts from here down would be temporary accounts. And what we now need to do, they're all in the category of owner's equity. What we now need to do is empty them all out into the owner's equity capital account. And we do that through the process called closing. So, closing happens at June 30. Now, there'll be a separate video on closing, and it's a pretty useful thing to understand. Now, this is where we also work with that very lazy account, the income summary, which, while it's very important, only does 4 entries a year. So the first thing we want to do is empty out all of our revenue accounts. Now, to empty them out, sales we can see is a credit, so we'll need to do a debit to sales to empty it out. So we go sales revenue, and then we will have the sales revenue. That's very good. Let's go back. Sales revenue, and then we have all of the contra account to sales equals sales returns and allowances. I can fill these two down, and we have one other account. I'll talk about that in a few moments. So, to empty out sales, we will need to do a debit of 93120. Now, if I put these in, we'll create a circular reference, I think. Well, we'll create the circular reference, then we'll come back and fix it. So, become the circular reference after I've posted to the trial balance, after the general ledger. Then sales return and allowances. Its normal balance actually I've only left you 2 spaces, so there's nothing to post there, so we'll go straight down to the next one. Equals bad debt expense, and we can fill that down. So bad debt expense is a debit, and so in order to empty it out we need to do a credit. Discount given as a debit, to empty it out we need to give a credit. Now the balancing item is the income summary. So we now put in the income summary account, and how does it balance? Well, it's just the balancing item. Let's post these and see what happens. So to empty out our sales, we debit sales and credit the income summary, and if there's any associated contra accounts, we need to credit them. Let's actually post this. It'll be more efficient posting it later, but we'll come back and see if these accounts do update, and I can find out about the circular reference. So, general ledger. So we have sales, So June 30, closing entries, closing would have been enough. This is going to be a debit. Yep, circular reference. But we can fix that by just typing these figures in. And we've got rid of our circular reference. So this has come from, now we've got to put these numbers in. G9, G10, G11, G12 and G13. So sales is account 400. This could be locked. It's not. Bad debt expense. Well, we'll find all these accounts are grouped together. So bad debt expense is June 30 closing. I'm going to copy and paste that into discount given because it's going to be the same. Now this is going to be a credit. This is going to be a credit, and we can see, as just what I said, we're emptying all of these accounts out so that they're zero. At the end of the period after closing, all your temporary accounts should be zero. So this is G8, this is G9, and this is G9. Bad debt expense is 400.2 and discount is 400.3. Now we've got to do the income summary. It's going to be up about the middle here. Gone too far. Income summary. June 30 closing. This is something that really does not need an explanation. You like explanations, but this one is not needed. So income summary. We have a credit of $901,503. So effectively, this is saying our capital accounts are going to increase by $901,537 because of this. So this is what would happen in a profit. We'll look at this is equivalent to our net income. Balance, we can put the balance in, it's just that amount. Then the reference is G8. And the 350 is the account number for income summary. Alright, closing revenue and related contras. June 30. We're now going to close expenses and related contras. Closing expenses and related contras. So this is going to reduce the income summary. I'll make the income summary smaller, equals I've locked that, so we could go pick another cell and change that number to 161. Or you could type in income summary. Yeah, we also need to change it to A161. Income summary. Then what accounts are we going to have to reduce? Let's back to the trial balance. And we could see in the income summary, we're going to have to do cost of goods sold. There was nothing for freight, so I'm going to miss that out, I hope. Freight, so sales, salaries, expenses, I think all the others have got values in them, so I'll fill down. Bank fees, and what are the amounts? So the normal balance of an expense is a debit, so to empty them out they're going to be credits. So cost of goods sold is 683. Remember, I'm going to have to then copy and paste these. Sales salaries is 52,000. Then I can fill down. There was no contras or associated accounts. The income summary will be the total of this. And now I need to copy and paste special. Paste special. We just do paste special. I could really go down and make it longer, go paste special values. You've got other choices when you go there. Now, we need to do the posting, general ledger. And we'll do the income summary first because we're there. June 30. Closing expenses, but again that's going to be obvious by just looking at this. It is a G10 and the value is nearly 860,000. So we can see the balance, 900,000 minus 858, 43,440. So all things being equal, that should be our profit. Now, income summary. Now let's zip down to the expenses. Cost of goods sold. Actually, June 30. Closing. Let me and this is, they're all going to go to G9, G10 or G10. Now I'll need to make this an absolute address, so I can do that by clicking on it, or clicking on it here and hitting F4. Or I could have inserted the dollar. So if we copy this, in some ways this is a bit dangerous, but it will save us a lot of time because we haven't actually posted these items and we shouldn't put it in before we post them. Could have waited till we posted them all, but they do all run in order. So G10. Now we need to put the amounts in. Cost of goods sold, 683,360. Now, we should know what they all are because all the accounts that have come back to zero. Equals 52,000 equals 12,000 equals 12,000 equals 38,000. We're over halfway through these. Equals 10,375 equals 44,525 equals 5,047 and equals 790. It's a lot of bank fees. And that must have been the bottom cell, and it's taken me back to the top because we still need to put in the posting references, and they are cost of goods sold, salaries, sales salaries, depreciation, insurance, office salaries expense, office supplies expense, rent expense. I hope you're also thinking about what's going on here and noticing that the normal balance of a expense of what we're working with is a debit. And to empty them out, we write journal entries, and that's the closing process. Interest, 630. Bank fees, 632. Now, let's have a look at the top, and for a bit of excitement, we're now 83% of the way through the general ledger. So we'll have to go back and look at what we're missing. Oh, well, 83% because we'll make some big progress. We've still got a bit of closing to finish off. We see 78% of the way through the general journal, 80% of the way through the practice set. So now, the next thing we're going to do is empty out the income summary account, that lazy account that does pretty much nothing all year. So we go June 30, income summary, and the amount we're going to empty it out is a calculation. We could do a working paper for this. I've told you how valuable they are, but we'll do this working paper in this cell. The income summary had 901,537 credit. Let me put a plus in front of that. And it had a debit. Don't write them in. I am a bit worried about circular references, but we'll work out how to solve that. This had a 900,000 debit, a 900,000 credit, an income summary, and an 860,000 almost debit. So that would have left it in a credit balance, because the credits exceed the debits. So to empty it out, we've got to do the same. We've got to do a credit entry. So credit entry of 43,440, and we could have done that just by going back and looking at the income summary, as we see 43,440. So now we can go June 30, G11, debit of 43,440. But we're going to do the other side, and we better complete this. Equals opening balance. Well, we put it in. It's income summary. It's to deal with a credit item minus any debits we had plus any credits to give us our closing balance of 0. Right, income summary. Now, what are we doing with the income summary now? We're dividing this up between the two owners. So this is going to go to the two capital accounts, A Noble and B Noble. Equals A Noble capital. I'll get that from the trial balance. A Noble. And I can fill down. And they're going to get half of this each. Divided by 2. Be in allocation of income summary, and i.e. should be profit equally to owners. So to now post these to the closing balance, June 30. June 30 is profit distribution. Could put closing. Actually, it is really closing process. Closing profit share. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, I'll change those. It will probably be another circular reference. No, not yet. Right. Opening balance. So when we did some mad copying before, when I did it, I copied in some formulas that were not correct. So we've got opening balance is equals G117. Cell's locked, so I've got to find some way around it. Minus any debits plus any credits, and now we can fill that down, and I'll copy that from there and put it into B Noble Capital, and now B Noble Capital will copy this across and we'll complete that item. Now we need to advise that we've completed them. C302, C301, C301 equals C302, and we'll do the income summary. I'll do it now. It's not far away because of what I should have done it before. And we need to put the posting references in here, G11, and G11. Now we're getting close to the end, only 2 more journals to do. And they are to do with the capital introduced and the drawings. June 30, June 30. So we now need to transfer to the accounts of A Noble Capital. So we can't copy and paste these, no. So we need to put, I'll write the descriptions of what we're doing. June 30, being allocation of capital introduced to capital account, or to reflect, you might say this one, might say to reflect drawings being deducted from capital accounts. So this account will increase the capital, therefore it's going to be a credit to the capital accounts. So let's go here to the trial balance, go to the two capital accounts, and in this one the drawings are going to reduce the capital account, so this is going to be a debit. So we'll put these items in to A Noble Capital, B Noble Capital. Now what are the other side to these transactions? Well, there is the capital introduced. So capital introduced, so the other side is going to be A Noble Capital introduced. And the down here, the credit items will be the drawings account. So A Noble Drawings, and B Noble Drawings, filling down. So here we go, we're getting very close to having these items complete. Let's go to A Noble Capital introduced is going to be $25,000. Will I put a link in? Yep, it's a circular reference. No, I'll put in the 25,000. 25,000. 25,000. These are all 25,000. And 25,000. And 25,000. Now let's make sure the postings are done. So let's post these. So they're all going to be June 30, and it is closing CI, capital introduced, and that's going to be from G12. I want to make it an absolute address. Go up the top, click on the cell address E85, hit F4. Now why do I want to do that? Because when I copy and paste, that will be copied as an absolute address, not a relative address. So we've got 4 items that have this, these details. A Noble Capital introduced, A Noble Capital, B Noble Capital introduced, A Noble, let me start that again here, A Noble Capital, B Noble Capital, A Noble Capital introduced, and B Noble Capital introduced. So the A Noble Capital is going to have a credit of 25,000. The B Noble is going to have the same, credit of 25,000. The capital introduced accounts will have debits and they will empty out. This is what we want, all these accounts to come back to zero. If they're not coming back to zero, we've got to keep looking. And we need to confirm that we've posted these. So, A Noble Capital. A Noble Capital introduced. B Noble Capital introduced. Lock cell. We can fix that. We can write the number in. We can fill down, and we see that the number is G133. So, oh no, we see the G, that is G140. 140. Now we have A Noble Capital. And B Noble Capital. Now we're getting to the very last journal entry. Look at this. We got transactions done, bank rec done, adjusting entries done. We've just got a bit of closing to do. 92%. But we're actually further than that. I know. The drawings. What were the drawings? We can get them from a few places, but let's take them from the trial balance. Drawings, fill down, equals. We can see this go up each time we do something. A Noble Capital, we should know this one by now, equals 301. B Noble Capital equals 302. Well, we haven't actually posted them, have we? Let's post them. Better do that before I put in June 30. Closing drawings. And this is going to be the journal reference will be G13 and it'll be an absolute address. Let's change it down here. You can do that. See if I can show you new things each time. Let's put a $sign in front of here and a $sign in front of here. Actually, I only really need the $sign in front of the 92. Now we'll copy that across. And B Noble Capital, go down to drawings, A Noble drawings, B Noble drawings. We're racing to the end now. B Noble Capital drawings reduced 2,500. Whoops. No, link it to here. Let me take it out. I linked it to the wrong one, even though they're the same numbers. Equals A Noble Capital I've done that under the drawings. A Noble Capital, B Noble Capital, and we now need A Noble drawings. There's a credit. Circular reference. Oh, I said that could happen, so I'll just type in 2,500 and I'll type in 2500 again here. So, closing now, we've got to indicate that we've which accounts we've closed them to. 306 could be locked, is it? No. And account 307. But we're still not 100% here. Drawings. That's the circular reference. Right now, that looks like it's 100%. So, way to go. We have completed the closing entries. We have 98% on the general ledger. So there's a few references I'm missing. So here I can see here's one on the bank rec, June 30. So bank rec, we can probably fix that while we're here. Here's the bank rec, $462. Where's the bank rec? Here's the bank rec, $462. So that was G3. Still one to go. And we could use that technique we talked about before. Let's go and do that. Go to the progress report. We go to general ledger. No, it says we've still got 3 items missing. General ledger can be found at C109, or that's the total, will be above that. C109. So what are we missing? 3 references. I know, 3 references, so let's go back. They may not be that easy to find. That doesn't require a reference, doesn't a reference. Here's one there's a problem with. Allowance for bad debts. Allowance for bad debts, so adjustments, down to the adjustments. That should be G8. Equals G8. So this could be a problem in my model, so I'll try and get that fixed for you. I am bound to have probably a few problems because there's over 5,000 calculation entry and calculation cells in here, plus then that many with formatting. So, righto, I'm going to have to fix up. I'll write a note to myself, allowance for bad debts. That's one. So you can probably just log out of this now if you've got all yours balanced, but if you want to hang around to see if I can find them, give some ideas of how I find them. Aha! Oh, some of our closing we haven't done. So we've done, so end of month adjustments for sales. This is probably a good way of seeing the value of having in some explanation. So audit trail to track back. So we know that these are in the adjustments. I don't think this is an adjustment. 98,600 is a bit big for an adjustment. This is sales. This looks more like our sales from the sales journal. So the end of month posting from the sales journal. So let me go back to the sales journal. is 98,600. And sales, we haven't done the closing correctly. It comes from a general journal. So we go down to closing entries, and we see sales is G9. Now I think I said we were missing 3, and I think that's 3 we've solved. We'll go back to the top. It says 100%. It still says I'm missing, that doesn't come up here, a reference, but that looks like a lot, doesn't it? But it's the scale that's on there. It starts at about 99%. So there's that one reference I will need to fix for you. Well, this is almost time for celebrating. We're 100% of general ledger. We're 100% of worksheet. We're just now getting into, well, we can go to the very end and have a look at how we're going. Our progress dashboard. So you look at the amount of things that we're 100% with. Inventory, special journals, general journal, subsidiary ledger. I'm missing some balances in the subsidiary ledger. Righto, I should go back and fix up that as well. And the worksheet we've still got a bit to do, and that'll come quickly. So I know the balances we're missing in the subsidiary ledger. I'll do that at the start of the next video.